Winning cures everything. Now for your hosts, Gary and Chris.
What's up? What's up? Welcome in college football playoff rankings top 25 after week number 13. This is our live reaction show to the rankings. I'm Gary.
I'm Chris. Sharing this stuff out. Sorry.
There you go. There you go. I like that. And if you are paying attention, if you are in right now, go ahead and click that share button for us. The show, of course, you can always find us over at winningcureseverything.com. All of our social media platforms.
Come on, man.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
Chapped ass and ready to get onto this.
All of our social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, etc., you can find over at winningcureseverything.com. All of our videos, podcasts, picks, previews, everything else is over there. So go check it out, winningcureseverything.com. And, of course, you can always find us, not always, but most of the time, down at Tunica. Tunica, Mississippi, the South's premier sports gambling destination. They got 6 incredible sports books. You can find more information on them over at tunicatravel.com. I just got hit up by a couple of guys that are actually coming into Tunica tomorrow for the Thanksgiving holiday, and they wanted to know where we spend our time. We gave them some recommendations. So if you need recommendations, hit us up. We'll let you know where you need to go. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and then make sure you comment in. Share the show out with your buddies, all that kind of fun stuff. But yeah, this is a reaction show. This is where you get to ask questions. You get to talk to us while we're going through the rankings. We look forward to this every week, every Tuesday night until the final bell, which will be on Sunday, December the 8th. You ready to hop into it?
Yep.
Let's start down at the bottom. Let's go ahead and talk. Let's jump into number 25, App State. They're 21 at the... Oh, wait, the way that we're going to do this, by the way. We do 5 teams. We just read through them really quickly, and then we discuss the rankings as we go from there. Number 25, App State. They're 21 at the Massey Composite. Number 24, Virginia Tech. They're actually 35 at the Massey Composite, but they're playing much better than that. Remember, these rankings encompass the entire season. So, number 35 at the Massey Composite for Virginia Tech, 24 here. 23, Iowa State. They're 25 at the Massey Composite. 22, USC. That is exactly where they are. And 21, Oklahoma State. They're 24 at the Massey Composite. You see anything crazy here?
No.
I think
I'm okay with all of this.
Iowa State is a good team. I don't know of anybody else that I would have up there. I think Iowa State's a good fit.
My issue is some of these teams, when I first saw it, I thought, yeah, I probably wouldn't have them in the top 25. And then I was kind of looking behind them saying, nobody else is really deserving either. So I'm not upset with the bottom of this at all.
I might, I don't know. I mean, SMU is 9-2, Air Force is 9-2, Louisiana 9-2. I think all of those teams are really good. Navy, I mean, I know they got blasted by Notre Dame, but...
Yeah, no, okay. I probably would have SMU and Navy in.
I mean, that was a good game last week.
The problem is they're not going to put those teams in over Power 5 teams, and they won't put them in over a one-loss App State because those teams have 2 losses.
Yeah.
That's the only issue we're dealing with.
Oklahoma State stays at 21. Now, they lost Spencer Sanders. They didn't look great against West Virginia, but they were efficient. They did get, they won by touchdown.
Well, that's your classic look-ahead spot, though.
Oh, yeah.
They've got the game they care about.
When
they realized they weren't playing for a Big 12 title after they lost a couple games early, I think they were looking to bedlam.
I think you were
Let's ruin
dead on.
this guy's season.
You are dead on. Of course, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching Facebook, wherever it is, share the show out for us. Tell your buddies about it. We would appreciate that. Let's jump into the top 20. Number 20, Boise State. They are 20 at the Massey Composite. Number 19, Cincy. They are 19 at the Massey Composite. Number 18, Memphis. They are 17 at the Massey Composite. Number 17, Iowa. They are actually number 18 at the Composite. And number 16, Notre Dame, is actually number 11 at the Massey Composite. Notre Dame, 9-2, sitting behind a 3-loss Auburn team.
Yeah, I would have those 2 teams flipped. I would have Notre Dame over Oregon as well.
Yeah, I'm a little...
Where that Wisconsin-Michigan is, we'll get to them. I would have Notre Dame directly behind them. Those are teams that have kind of played, I guess not really a round robin, but played one another in a sense. that's the order I would have them in. I think they should be up higher than they are. I would be okay with Memphis and Cincinnati both being over Iowa.
I mean, it would make sense.
Iowa's
got 3
defense
losses.
is really good. Iowa's offense, not great.
Questionable.
Yeah, and not super impressive. They've got 3 losses.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. They give some preferential treatment here. And to be fair, Memphis, they've got one top 25 win that was a top 25 win at that point over SMU. And then they do have the one loss to Temple. Iowa has played 5 top 25 teams. They lost 3 of them. They beat 2 of them. They do have a top 10 win over number 8 Minnesota. We'll get to them. Mike jumps in on YouTube. He said, "What's up? How you doing, buddy? Thanks for jumping in." Let's do the top 15 here.
Okay.
Number 15, Auburn. They are 16 at the Massey Composite. Number 14, Oregon. They are also 14 in the composite. Number 13, Michigan, is actually number 8 at the composite.
Actually, and that's right.
Number 12, Wisconsin, is actually number 10 at the composite.
I agree with that.
Number 11, Florida, is actually 12 at the composite. I think I would definitely have Notre Dame over Auburn and Oregon here.
And I would also have Auburn over Oregon. They've got the head-to-head. Their 3 losses are 3 pretty damn good losses, considering all 3 of those teams are in the top 5.
Well, top 11.
Well, they've lost. Oh, yeah, because they've the Florida loss.
Yeah, Florida, Georgia, and
I thought they played Georgia. Not. Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they
They
played.
haven't played Bama yet.
Yeah, they hadn't played Bama yet.
I was forgetting the Florida loss and assuming the.
Here we go. Mike says Iowa's a great home team on the road. On the road issues. Yeah, I mean that's totally fair. And then Benjamin jumps in. He said Memphis was also playing against the refs against Temple. That's true, but if you don't turn the football over 4 times, then we're not even talking about this.
Yeah, the refs didn't cause that.
Yeah, I mean the end of the game definitely, but
yeah, that was
even
as
still
bad, as bad at finish.
Memphis has 1 loss, and they're still sitting in a pretty good spot. Like they were never going to be a playoff team, but number 18, they're still projected to be,
The frustrating part is if they win the next 2 games, if they beat Cincinnati 2 times in a row, that doesn't get them in a top 10. And it would be huge for a school for them to finish in the top 10, and I don't know that they're not deserving of that.
Yeah.
But I think there's way too many teams above them. They won't all lose. Well, they can't all lose because they're all going to play one another.
Yeah.
Some of them are going to definitely lose, and some are going to have to win. So,
Mike, it says that team up north. I didn't know Mike was an Ohio State guy.
okay.
That team up north shouldn't jump Wisconsin either. Well, we're not saying that they should jump Wisconsin, but they're right behind them. So,
yeah, we didn't say that.
Lone Wolf said, does Oregon's loss hurt Utah's chances in CFP, even if Utah does beat them in the Pac-12? Mike said, I think Utah gets in with 2 wins, and then that thrashing of Navy by Notre Dame hurt the AAC. Yeah, it probably did. I don't think it should necessarily. Lone Wolf, we'll talk about Oregon and Utah here in just a minute. Oregon sitting at 14, probably right. We got the dog in here tonight. For those that are wondering what Chris is doing.
I'm wrestling a beast.
And speaking of thrashing, let's go on and jump into the top 10 because that's what everybody wants to discuss. Number 10, Penn State. They are 5 at the composite. That was a little surprising.
I think that's shocking to me. I don't know how the composite has them at 5.
It's an average of
their defense hasn't been great since they finally started playing decent offensive teams, and their offense hasn't been great all season.
Yeah.
So what has them 5?
All
what
of the stuff that goes into it is like third down percentage and havoc rate and blah, 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 blah. I mean, it's all the different metrics, right? So they are sitting at 5 at the composite. They're number 10 in the rankings. But I think that that's why, well, we'll get to this here in a minute, but it's why Minnesota is at number 8 now, right? Because they are, like, that committee loves Penn State. Remember, once upon a time, they had Penn State at 4.
Yeah, and then the next week, they subsequently
got beat.
Yeah, and
so
kind of got handled.
Yeah. So just saying, I think that's what it is. They love, like, Penn State looks good according to the numbers, and I think that's about it.
I don't know how, though, because I watch these games, too.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make sense to me.
So Penn State is 5 at the composite, number 10 in the rankings. Baylor is number 9. Mike jumps in. He said, Baylor finally getting some love. Absolutely. They jumped up 5 spots.
A little late.
Little late. But yeah, they're sitting at 9. They're 13 at the Magic Composite. Number 8, Minnesota. They are 15 at the composite. Number 7, Oklahoma is number 9 at the composite. Number 6, Utah is actually 7 at the composite. Now, Utah sitting there at 6. Everybody talked immediately about Oklahoma and Utah. Are they going to have a chance to jump Alabama? Like, obviously, if Alabama loses this weekend, which I think it's more than likely that they will. But if Alabama does, in fact, win, I think that the Oregon loss does hurt Utah. You see that the committee was not as big a fan of Oregon as maybe we thought they were.
Look how many Big 12 teams are in the top 25 as opposed to the Pac-12.
Yeah. As you got one Pac-12, at the bottom.
That's right.
And then you've got Oregon at 14 and Utah at 6. Utah lost to the only other ranked top 25 Pac-12 team.
That's right.
Let's see. I'm getting too old for this. Said I like Baylor, but jumped too much, in my opinion, for the Texas game. Yeah, I think that this was a market correction.
Yes, I was just about to say,
I think that's what Jesse Palmer
This
said.
is not beating Texas. This is we made a mistake, and we can't have them below all these other teams.
Yeah, I think that's what that was. And then Mike said Ohio State was the first team to have a running back go for 100 yards against Penn State. Yeah, I mean, the defense has been good.
Okay.
But defense hadn't looked great in the last couple of games. Like, that's the issue, right? So, I don't know. The defense has looked good all year, but it's just against Ohio State and against Minnesota.
It's good, but this is my issue with Ohio State's defensive stats. Name a good offense in the Big 12 in the Big 10. Name a great offense, not Ohio State, in the Big 10.
I can't do it.
All right, so you're beating up on bad offenses.
Yeah.
That gives you great defensive stats, right? Are we going to acknowledge that at all? Are we just going to say, oh, but they're beating these good teams? These good teams are not known for moving the football.
True.
They're not known for scoring anyway.
True. I mean, you got a valid point there. Mike, he said, unless Baylor or Oklahoma blows one or the other out and Utah wins out, I think Utah jumps to 4. I don't think Utah gets in with a win. Like, I don't think a win over Colorado and then a win over Oregon, who would then be a 3-loss team.
That's right.
I don't think that helps a bunch.
I don't either.
Especially considering Alabama has to play another team to beat that Oregon team.
With all the Big 12 teams being in this ranking, and they've been in it for a long time. I mean, they've had Oklahoma State ranked in this thing for a while now. And early on, I didn't know that they belonged. I like Oklahoma State. I like Gundy, but I don't know that they deserved it. And the fact that they've stayed in, and they've stayed in, and they've stayed in, it's just one of those things where
it feels like they're setting it up so that
propping the Big 12. And they always do this, by the way. They always prop up a conference by overinflating a couple of teams. That tells me more about what the committee, their end game is, and what it wants to do than anything else.
Oh, yeah.
But right now, currently, Utah is ranked over Oklahoma and over Baylor. And therefore, if they all win and Alabama and Georgia both lose, they would seemingly get that next spot. Somebody's got to jump them.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. Somebody does. Now, I do think that Utah would get in over Oklahoma.
I don't understand how Utah is ranked higher than Oklahoma.
They've looked insanely better
against inferior opponents.
Let's see. Mike said, I agree, but half the game has been against second-string defense. And then, by the way, I was close on the Virginia Tech game this week. Yeah.
But I just don't like my issue with them being better is their loss isn't nearly as good as Oklahoma's loss. But I know Kansas State's not ranked and USC is.
Yeah, so that helps.
But at the end of the day, do we think we've watched a lot of football? We think Kansas State's a better football team than USC. Or do you not think that?
I don't think that.
See, I kind of do.
I think they're probably a better coach team, but they're not nearly as talented.
Well, no, but talent doesn't always win. If you're just going to do that, then take the teams with the highest ranked recruiting classes and stick them in the top 5.
I'm with you. But
But that's not how we play this game, or else Baylor wouldn't be involved at all. Minnesota wouldn't be involved at all.
No, I mean, you got a valid point. So but to be fair, I don't.
Beating the hell out of Arizona just does not move the needle for me, man.
No.
It just doesn't.
When it doesn't move the needle for television viewers either.
No.
Did you see how many people watched that game?
No, yeah, nobody.
It was like literally
Yeah,
500,000.
people in Utah didn't watch it.
Yeah.
It was like, no, we're good.
It was
We'll go
was
home.
pretty bad. It's Alabama, Western Carolina did 1.5 million people. In Utah against Arizona, like a conference game, a team that is supposed to be coming up for a playoff, they did 533,000.
No,
like, man.
I think they're going to struggle to get in. I think they're preparing for one of these Big 12 teams to jump them.
I think
what's going to hurt them is if Oklahoma State beats Oklahoma in Bedlam.
Yeah.
Because then if Baylor wins,
It's not going to
now
look that
Oklahoma
impressive.
is a 3-loss team. It's the same problem that Utah's got right now. I actually think Utah would get in over Baylor no matter what. I don't think they would get in over Oklahoma. You got the name, you got the flash, you got Lincoln Riley, you've got Jalen, and then you've got the television ratings of Oklahoma being a big time program.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're 100% right. Lone Wolf, I believe Virginia Tech can dominate Virginia. Do they have a chance to slow down Clemson and maybe even pull off the upset?
I think they got a chance.
I mean, they've always got a chance.
Here's the one thing you've got. Not that you're battle tested at all. I don't know that Clemson is worlds better than Notre Dame. And you went into Notre Dame and you gave them all the hell they wanted.
Yeah.
I think Clemson is better than Notre Dame. Let me get that straight. But are they just so marketably better? What you have is this will be the first time somebody's had a chance to actually hit Clemson in the face.
Yeah.
And I watched Alabama do it when they played LSU. You don't have to be the number 1 or number 2 team in the country to be this. You hit a team in the face that has moonwalked through a schedule, they are going to take a couple of drives to figure out what's happened before they come back.
And if you can take advantage of that,
If you can get
then
a
you got
lead
shot.
and don't give it up, then it's fine. It's going to be hell to hang on to, but you got a shot.
Yeah.
You got a shot, but you got to hit them. You got to hit them early. You got to hit them often.
Mike said Pac-12 doesn't have the support unless it's a big dog.
Well, the problem
that'd
is
be
the
USC.
commissioner of this whole thing is the commissioner
Yeah.
of the athletic director at Oregon, and he's got a financial stake in them getting somebody in.
Yeah.
He only has to be recused when they're talking about Oregon, which Oregon is no longer in consideration for this thing, and he's got a financial obligation to make sure Utah gets in.
Yeah. Oklahoma is playing around with teams where Utah is dominating them. And that's 100% it. Utah is demolishing teams
I just
right
think we're at a point in the schedule where win and survive and advance, right?
Yeah.
I just don't care about style points. I don't. I've already said this, beating the hell out of Arizona doesn't do anything for me.
Had Oklahoma won all of their games, wouldn't be a problem.
Well, yeah, if they're undefeated.
They're undefeated, doesn't matter. If
but
Baylor
they
is
play in a
undefeated, doesn't matter.
Far in a superior conference than the Pac-12.
Yeah.
Far superior.
I agree. However, Utah, they are pointing back to, our running back Zach Moss was out that game, and you can't do that.
Everybody's got guys hurt.
Well, you can't do that without pointing out that USC was down to their third string quarterback and still beat you.
Yeah.
Like that's where Utah is going to have problems.
That's the red flag.
Yeah. So it's the most potent offense that Utah has played all season put 30 points on them and gave them an L. And that becomes a problem.
They had their third string quarterback in.
Yeah. So that's where it's an issue. Mike said the issue is win and survive won't jump. True. I don't think it works.
But win and survive shouldn't cause you to fall. That's my issue.
Yeah, it shouldn't cause you to fall.
You shouldn't go backwards, and other teams shouldn't jump you because they're beating the hell out of high school teams.
The only chance that Utah has right now is for Alabama to lose to Auburn and for Georgia to lose to LSU. That's what Utah needs.
Oh yeah. Those two things have to happen.
And then with Oklahoma,
have to happen.
Like Oklahoma needs Utah to get beat, and they need they need Utah to maybe not look good against Oregon. How's that?
I do think if that's a close game and Oklahoma's a close game, I think Oklahoma jumps them as well.
Yeah, because Oklahoma will end up having the better resume.
Yeah, but they've got
it won't be much better.
now, and they're not over them.
I mean, they've got the one comeback win at Baylor. And then they would have a win over
Texas, better than any win Utah's got. Win over Iowa State, better than any win Utah's got.
Because the Texas
win
Texas
over
is
Baylor,
6-5.
better than any win Utah's got.
All right, that one definitely is
better than a win over TCU. I mean, name a team in the Pac-12 that's better than those 4 teams I just named. That's not Oregon because you hadn't played Oregon yet.
Washington State.
Washington and Washington State are not better than those teams.
They're not better than
just
Texas
not.
and TCU?
No, they are not.
Oh, I disagree wholeheartedly. I think
What's your sheet
if
say?
nothing else,
What's your
they're at
sheet
least
say?
better. Let's see. They've got Texas at 31. They've got
Washington's not going to be 31 or higher.
nope. Kansas State is 33. Washington is 34.
Go to
Let's
the
see.
analytics. Unbiased opinions that doesn't care what the judge
Arizona
says.
State is 40. TCU is 42. What else we got? Washington State is 47. I mean, so you're talking about you're talking about top 50 teams between 30 and 50.
But once again, I stand by my previous statement. They got 4 wins over teams that are better than anybody Utah has beaten. How is that not a better resume?
Yeah, you might be right.
We're not talking about 1 win over 2 teams that may be close to one another. We're talking about 4 wins.
Let's see. We've got a few more. Let's see. Oh, I agree, but Utah is ahead of Oklahoma. Said Mike, I'm getting too old for this. Said, who's the most underrated and overrated in this ranking? We can discuss that. And then Mike said, I think Alabama to get in needs to dominate Auburn.
Nah,
I don't think so anymore. I think they
just need to win and Georgia lose.
Yeah, that's how Alabama gets in.
I think Alabama moonwalks into this thing if they just win.
The most
1 point fluky win.
The most underrated team in this.
In the whole top 25 or in like the consideration of this whole thing?
No, I think in this whole top 25 right now, this week.
The most underrated ranking?
Yeah.
Michigan is not close. Michigan's a top 5 team right now.
Whew.
Michigan's a top 5 team the way they're playing football right now.
I don't know if I
think I'd take Michigan over Georgia. I'd take Michigan over Alabama. I'd take Michigan over Oklahoma, over Utah, over Minnesota, over Baylor, over Penn State, over Florida, over Wisconsin. I'd take Michigan over all of those teams.
Mike said top 7. Let's say he did say underrated is Michigan.
They're the
said
most underrated.
Overrated is Penn State.
Penn State's the most overrated, and no question, not even close. Penn State's got 1 good win where they almost cocked it up at the end, and should have. That was the biggest game, white out at Happy Valley, and they had to hang on with all they had to not get got.
I was going to say Notre Dame. I think Michigan. I mean, you might be right with Michigan. Okay, so, man, I don't know. I think Cincy, like the way that they've been playing, could be overrated, but I don't think they're the most overrated.
At 19, they're not overrated.
And not with only 1 loss.
Where would you have them? I mean, you know.
I mean, 19's fine.
Okay,
maybe that's a good spot for 'em.
Boise State could be ranked higher than
Like,
them,
I will
but
say
that
this.
That's not an overrated or underrated thing.
Ben, he said after that Army game, like
Yes, but
different,
you gotta,
different time of the year. They
hanging
looked
on
way
to,
better.
Keep hanging on to week 2 because it's
Yeah.
a different season right now. It just is. It doesn't mean they get into the college football playoffs, but right now, I'm not saying they should be ranked there, by the way. I'm making that abundantly clear. Where a team ranked and where a team, like what they are in real life, are 2 different things. They deserve to be ranked behind Wisconsin because Wisconsin beat them and the resumes are kind of equal right now. So, but that doesn't matter. If they were to play right now, Michigan would be a 7-point favorite over Wisconsin. Or no, I don't think it matters. I think they beat the hell out of them too.
Let's see.
They play Penn State. They're favored over Penn State today.
Circa went ahead and released their odds makers top 25. They've got Clemson 1, Ohio State 2, LSU 3, Georgia 4, Oklahoma 5, Alabama 6, Michigan 7, Utah 8, Wisconsin 9, Auburn 10, Oregon 11, Florida 12, Penn State 13, Texas A&M 14, Notre Dame 15. And I'm not going to get into the top.
They would have A&M at 14.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
do think A&M's a far better team than what their record says because of their schedule.
Oh, yeah.
And they're much more experienced at this point in time than they were last year. They're going to get a bowl matchup that's going to be hell for the team they have to play.
Let's see. On Periscope, College Picks 4 said, without a loss to Michigan, would you say Notre Dame would have gotten that 4 spot? No.
Don't think so.
No, don't think so.
I still think it would have been – I do think they would be 6, though.
Yeah, I think so.
I think they would be 6 because I think Alabama and Georgia would be ranked over them.
KB said Memphis over Notre Dame in the Cotton Bowl. Book it. I think it's going to be Florida, but we'll see. Like according to the rankings right now, I think it's going to be Florida.
I would much rather Notre Dame. It's just more fun.
Oh, it's a lot more fun, yeah. And then Mike said the team up north has turned the corner as much as it kills me to say. As far as who would be ranked over who, or not ranked, but what the line would be, on a neutral, Alabama would be favored by 2 over Michigan.
I'd take that.
Michigan would be favored by 3.5 over Wisconsin.
I think that's small. I'd take Michigan in that.
Most surprising thing, I think, is that Clemson would be a 6.5 point favorite over LSU right now.
I would take all that. Give me all those dogs.
Oklahoma would be a 1 point favorite over Alabama currently.
I would not take that.
No. Lone Wolf, what if Michigan beats Ohio State? How far do they – how far
do they jump and how far does Ohio State fall? Because that's got to be the question, right?
How far does it affect the ranking? Yeah. Who does that help?
Well, it helps Michigan. It hurts Ohio State. And I don't think it helps anybody else because I think Ohio State is still in with 1 loss to Michigan at the Big House. I absolutely think they get in, but they dropped to 4, which means Georgia.
Well, no, they dropped to 3. Didn't we talk about this earlier?
They would only drop to. They would drop to 4. No, they wouldn't. They would drop to 3 because they've got a better resume and better loss than Georgia. You're right. We did talk about that. You're correct.
So let's see. And then Mike says, I feel if Ohio State or LSU lose 1 game, they will be the 4 seed.
Yes. Well, I think, once again, I think they'd be the 3 seed.
The crazy thing is, what happens if both of them lose?
You still have the same Final Four. Nothing changes. You still get the same Final Four we got right now. It's just mixed up different. Clemson is 1. Georgia's probably 2. And then I don't know who would be Ohio. If it is the way it is now.
I mean, if it's Minnesota that beats Ohio State, then you got to put Minnesota in there, right?
Oh, yeah. I thought we were talking about if Michigan beat them. If Minnesota beats them.
All bets are off at that point because then it may be.
Ohio State might get bounced.
Or LSU might get bounced.
There's zero chance that there's zero chance that this resume that LSU has gone through, that they have 1 loss and they're not in, and some other 1-loss team is in. That is zero chance of happening. They will have been on the road at Texas. Now I know Texas is going to finish with 5 losses, but on the road at Texas, on the road at Alabama, they beat Florida, who is a top 10 team right now. They beat Auburn, who is a top 15 team right now. That you can't say that, and then they will have played A&M. Like you just cannot say that resume does not belong in the playoffs. You just can't do it.
Yeah. Ian said
the only loss would be to a number 4 team, Georgia, which is the best loss that anybody's got on the resume.
Well, I mean, I think Alabama's would be. Well, I guess
because Alabama's at home and we got to go on the road.
It won't be on the road. It's in a neutral. Whatever. Either way, Ian Driscoll said it. So if Utah loses to Colorado, Pac-12 has no chance at all.
No.
Correct.
Yes,
no chance at that point. Mike said 3 and 4.
Even if they finish out.
And then Mike said Minnesota still needs to beat Wisconsin. Yes, that's true.
Correct.
We're going to record our gambling picks here in just a minute. Correct. And yeah, I'll go on and give you a little preview. I like Wisconsin this weekend. So we can discuss it. We'll figure it out. We have been going for about 30 minutes now. Is there anything else that we need to hit on this?
Yeah, we didn't finish it.
Oh, no,
5
we didn't.
Is Bama.
5
is Georgia,
Bama.
3 is Clemson. LSU got the old screw job. Don't know what the hell they were supposed to do. Beat the shit out of somebody, and all of a sudden you get bounced. I don't know what they have to do. I don't know what the committee wants. Look at their schedule. Look at what they've gone
I don't
through.
know why you're getting all worked up about this.
Because it's...
I told you, Mike said, I knew Chris would be mad. Look,
rightfully so, by
I
the
have
way.
told you that they were going to set this up to get Alabama in and to get them against Ohio State because that is a ratings
all
bonanza.
SEC title game again, and then that will teach them to quit trying to fuck with the numbers.
Yeah.
Quit trying to make a matchup because then you get an all SEC title game again. When if you just let the 2 SEC teams play in the first round, then you're guaranteed to get somebody else in the title game. You don't piss everybody off in the country.
Yeah.
But instead, they got to mess with shit. That's what the SEC does, or the NCAA does better than anybody else. Let's take something that's really good. Let's take something that works really, really well, and let's just get our hands all in it and see how bad we can screw it up.
KV said, Gary hates LSU so much. Book it. I don't hate LSU as much as I hate Auburn.
Yeah, Gary likes to pick on weaklings. Somebody stands up to him, he's like, "Yeah, I'm cool with those guys. They're my friends."
I don't have any problem with
hate 'em.
LSU at all.
I know.
LSU's fine. Whatever.
That's what I would say
You
too.
know.
If somebody kicked my ass.
That's look, once every 8 years is totally fine.
We come
I don't
into
mind
your
it.
house and we collect payment. That's fine.
That's cool. That's cool. It's all good. Let's see. Mike said, I really don't think Bama beats Ohio State. I don't think they beat Auburn this weekend.
I don't either, boys.
So we'll see.
I don't either. I'm taking all those points if you want some gambling pick now.
Yeah, we're jumping into that. I don't know why KB got to try and rile us up, man. KB always
KB's
does
going to
this.
the Memphis game with me.
Is he? On Friday?
Yeah, he just hit me up.
Oh, good.
We just made that happen while y'all were talking.
That's so while we were going through all this, you making plans. I see how it goes. So yeah, like for anybody that hasn't paid attention, Ohio State jumps LSU this week after I'm not going to say subpar because they were pretty dominant in the game, but they did look beatable against Penn State for the first time all season.
They scored one touchdown after the first 3 minutes of the second half.
Yeah. I mean, they were up 21-0.
Okay.
In the rain.
The other team came back and scored 17, and then Ohio State got one more touchdown.
Let's see. KB said you wouldn't ride with Coach O in a Hummer.
I would.
I
I'd
know
ride with that
Chris
man
would.
anywhere.
Mike said it's about defense. Ben said, agreed with Chris about Penn State being too high and LSU has the best resume, but would be interesting to weigh a one-loss P5 champ versus one-loss LSU or Ohio State non-champ for the 4th spot. Yeah, that's what I'm curious about. Like if Minnesota beats Wisconsin and then beats Ohio State, does the committee have the nuts to put Ohio State in over Minnesota? Like I think that's some interesting stuff, right?
I don't know. I don't know who gets bounced then.
Or if Georgia beats LSU and Minnesota beats Ohio State.
That's where you get the catastrophe. Because if LSU wins, you just bounce Georgia and you put both the Big Ten teams in.
Yeah.
But then, because you moved all this shit around to make sure you didn't get 2 SEC teams to play first, now you're going to probably get 2 Big Ten teams to play first.
I mean, that'd be nuts.
Because you don't know what the hell you're doing. No, I guess you wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't because
you'd have LSU 1, you'd have Clemson 2, and then you'd have
a like Minnesota 3, Ohio State 4.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ian said it's about money. Ohio State brings more eyeballs. Yeah, 100%. That's why I was talking
so
about
does Oklahoma, though.
It's not even close if you look at TV ratings.
If you compare Oklahoma and Utah, you don't think that's close? That's not close.
No, Oklahoma Utah is not close whatsoever.
But
Oklahoma has looked like trash most of the year, and
that's what we're going to end up comparing when you're talking about this 4th spot if chalk holds out.
So I have been keeping up with the rankings, or not the TV ratings this year, because I do this every season, because it always tends to hold, strong. And if you look back, like Alabama obviously has the best TV ratings of the 5 that are in question right now. Let's see. College football ratings. Here we go. So all of the games that have actually been there we go. Of all the games that have actually been through the Nielsen rating, Alabama averages 4.29 million viewers per game, which is, I don't even have LSU, Ohio State, and Clemson in this. Utah averages 910,000. Baylor, 1.45 million. Oklahoma, 3.66 million. Minnesota, 1.9 million. So even if Baylor wins out, no chance for Baylor. Oklahoma has the 2nd most eyeballs on it besides Alabama. Minnesota's got the 3rd. And then you got Baylor and you got Utah. The issue with Utah is Utah has been killing people.
But they've been killing inferior opponents.
Yes, they have.
At some point in time, if they reward that, all the committee's going to do is encourage teams to just kill
not play anybody in non-conference.
Kill their schedules.
Yeah.
Play high school teams and beat the hell out of them.
I think that's kind of what they've been doing anyway.
But they got to stop encouraging that.
I mean,
you
got Baylor up there at 9.
You have to reward teams for playing somebody good. Now, if you play a good conference, I don't care what your non-con is.
Slave Driver jumped in. He said, number 1, Akron, 2, UTEP, 3, Tunica Community College, 4, who cares? I don't know where these people come from, man. Oh man. Mike said Pac-12 is garbage. Yeah, I mean they're playing their conference opponents, and they didn't play anybody really out of conference.
Non-con.
They played BYU, they played Northern Illinois,
So people,
and
people
who
want
else?
to crap on Baylor because they played nobody in non-con, but they got 9 conference games that are better than anybody that Utah's gonna play all year.
Yeah,
So do those 9 games not count because they played Rice once? I mean, at some point, in
I'll
time,
tell you
have
this:
to
it
look
doesn't
at
help.
You have to look at the whole schedule, though. You just have to. You're going to play 12 games. You got to look at all 12 of them. You can't parse it out and say, but they didn't play anybody this week. Yeah, everybody's got those weeks.
Lone Wolf said the SEC has more better teams in conference than any conference. Ohio State.
Not close.
Let's see.
You're
In any conference,
absolutely right.
Ohio State looked beatable. LSU, I believe, outscored Georgia and Ohio State. Let's see. Mike said one problem with that is these damn schedules are years out. Yes, 100%.
And I don't understand that either.
We've talked about that multiple
These
times.
teams are all flying on private planes. Why Georgia and Clemson said we're going to play each other in a decade? What 10 years from now? Who the hell cares? Play next year. Line it up.
Yeah.
I mean, both of y'all got a high school team on your schedule. Go pay them $100,000, break out of the contract, and play one another.
Yeah, that would
This
make sense.
is not that hard.
I mean, it's the same thing. Alabama's playing Wisconsin in 8 years.
Yeah, 30 years.
Alabama's playing
Nobody
Notre Dame.
cares.
Alabama's, all of the, like, Georgia's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, all of the bigger teams are
line
doing
this thing
these,
up.
which is great because because college football attendance is dwindling. That's why
you
they're
don't-
doing it.
But why do it in a decade? Why do it 10 years from now?
I agree.
You're going to hop on a private plane and fly somewhere next year anyway. So play a good team
Yeah.
next year. Let's do it next year.
Where
we know where these teams are ranked, where we know these teams are on even footing.
Oh, yeah.
We don't know what Clemson and Georgia are going to look like in a decade.
No.
I mean, if Kirby Smart's still there, Georgia's going to be awful. Dabo might be the coach somewhere else.
I mean, look at it this way. Alabama scheduled Duke like 3 years ago for this season. And
Because they thought Duke was going to be awesome.
well, they thought Duke was going to be pretty good, at least a top 25 team, and that's why the Chick-fil-A whatever people put the game together.
Chick-fil-A put it together because Alabama said, we're willing to play in Atlanta.
Yeah, and they
And they'll
brought
bring a
Duke
million people.
because they thought Duke would be a top 25 team
That makes
because they
sense.
thought they'd have Daniel Jones and all this kind of mess. That's what they thought.
They didn't think any of that.
That's it.
They said Alabama's showing up in Atlanta. They'll bring 1 million people with them and spend a ton of money.
Yes, that had a lot to do with it.
That had everything
But they
to do
wanted to
with it.
bring Duke
Because you
to
played
be a
Louisville the
marquee.
year before that, and nobody thought they were going to be worth a damn either. Oh, the best player in Louisville's history just graduated and left. Let's play him right after that. Let's not play him while Lamar's there. No, we don't want any part of that. He almost beat Deshaun Watson. They beat us that year. We don't want any part of that. Saban's not
So
an
you
idiot.
think they have the capabilities of
Looking and seeing who's on a roster and saying we'll play when those guys have graduated? I absolutely think they have that.
but they haven't graduated. Both
Lamar-
of those guys left early for the draft.
What do you think Lamar was going to do? He won the Heisman Trophy. You think
He won the
gonna stick
Heisman
around
Trophy as a
Louisville?
sophomore.
Okay, and then he left after his junior year. He was the best quarterback in the country. Why would he
No.
have not left?
not that last year. Remember, we were still looking at Deshaun Watson and
We were not.
Yeah.
You were.
anyway, I don't know why I get into these arguments.
Because you've now seen yourself to be on the wrong side of history with that.
On the wrong side of the Lamar Jackson
Yes,
thing.
sir.
Oh, no, I still got time. He's only started 19 games,
Don't-
brother.
You and Clay
I ain't
Travis
putting him in
can-
Canton
you-
yet.
You and Clay Travis can hang out on that island.
That's totally fine. It won't be just us.
You're wrong.
Because there were a lot of people putting Jared Goff in the Hall of Fame this time last year.
Well, yeah, those guys were idiots too. I mean, just because other people are morons doesn't make it okay for you to say moronic things.
What have I said that's moronic right now?
That Lamar Jackson should have tried out as a wide receiver. You were on Bill Polian's nuts about him running the 40. On this show, live in front of
2 years
everybody.
ago?
When he was at the combine, sure.
I thought he should have.
I know you did because you didn't think he could make it as a quarterback. And you made that clear.
And he threw 4 picks against Mississippi State. He threw 4 picks against Kentucky.
Okay.
He played against good defenses. I've missed a whole bunch here. KB said, honestly, the American gets no respect. Would love to see Pac-12 and American play mini games against each other. I take the American. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
All day long, I'd take them.
Mike said Ohio State against Georgia in 6 years. Yeah, that's going to be a fun
Is there
matchup,
a chance
but it's 6
that
years.
if Utah gets left out with one loss, can they play in the Cotton Bowl against the American? The winner of the American, Memphis or Cincinnati?
No, if Utah wins the Pac-12 and gets left out, they would be in the Rose Bowl.
Ah, shit, you're right.
So
This is why we got to get rid of conference tie-ins.
I think they'd rather be in the Rose Bowl.
Well, they would, but would the Rose Bowl rather have Utah? Because I bet they would rather say, I'd rather pick somebody else.
Over who?
Utah.
Yeah, Utah over who?
I think
they would love a Utah like Minnesota matchup.
I don't know that anybody in Southern California would love that matchup.
Oh, I think it would sell tickets like hotcakes. 100%. That place would be full.
Okay, that might happen. How many people watching that game?
I think you'd be surprised. The Rose Bowl is going to draw people no matter what.
We're going to disagree.
We'll check out the ratings after. Notre Dame versus Wisconsin and Clemson next year, plus their usual rivals USC and Stanford.
That'll be an incredible schedule. Notre Dame always plays a hard schedule.
Yeah. Next year will just be a little more difficult than usual.
Yes.
Let's see. Mike said Rose Bowl. Yeah, he agrees. I believe, Lone Wolf said, I believe ACC, SEC Challenge, or SEC Big 10 or Big 12, Pac-12, and include
the
AAC.
ACC wants no part of the SEC.
No.
They Clemson might be able to hang with the top team. That will be it. That's where the list will end.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt would beat the hell out of whoever the bottom feeder is in the ACC.
Oh, I don't know about this year. Vanderbilt is really, really bad. Yeah, having conference challenges would be a lot of fun. I'd love that. I mean, they do it in basketball.
I would
I
too.
think it'd be great in football.
I would too. We see this very similarly. We'll never get it because that makes sense. And the people that run college football just want to mess it up.
Mike asks, you think we move to Power 6?
I think we should.
No, not
and I
yet.
think we should go to an 18 playoff. Somebody said that at some point in time in here, but
yeah, I mean, I agree. I think the 18 playoff would be better for television. And I mean, you look at it this year. Are there 8 teams that need to be in this thing?
yes, there absolutely are.
Man, I don't know. Like I
Well,
think
all the Utah apologists think that they can win the national championships, and they absolutely believe there should be.
Yeah. I mean, look, I do agree that it would be good for television. I mean, here's what the matchups would be right now. Ohio State, Minnesota. Well, I mean, you're already going to get that.
So let's call it
LSU,
LSU and Minnesota. Let's flip those two to where it rightfully should be. All right, so you got that matchup.
LSU, Minnesota, Ohio State, Oklahoma,
Great matchup. Incredible.
Utah.
You don't think Oklahoma could win this thing? I don't think they would, and I don't think they'll be favored to, but you don't think they can? They can't win 3 games?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, I don't
Not
either.
against these teams.
No, I don't either, but okay, go ahead. Just saying.
Number 6, Utah against number 3, Clemson. That could be fun.
That would be a fun game. That would be the hardest game Clemson had played all year.
Yeah.
If Utah got by them, they earned their spot.
And then number 4, Georgia against number 5, Alabama. Of course,
That'd be
everybody
awesome.
like to see that. Yeah. I mean, I'd be good with it. So, yeah,
And you don't think
playoff.
either Georgia or Alabama could win this thing? Because both of them aren't getting in.
Let's see. Mike said Brady Quinn has a perfect schedule for an 18 playoff. I don't know how else you would do it. Like, surely they're not talking about giving out buys.
Well, not if it's 8 teams.
No,
If it's 8 teams, you can't do buys.
there's
Now, I'm sure he's probably got a group of 5 team in. somewhere.
probably.
Because if you ever do it, you got to open. See, I'm not one that says you have to hold a spot for somebody.
No, I don't believe that either.
If you're a group of 5 team and you're ranked there, but we got to stop deflating the rank of the group of 5 teams. You got to fairly rank them.
Yeah.
You can't do the bull crap where we're just going to hold them all at the bottom and none of them can ever get up there. I mean, the year UCF was in, they should have been. They weren't ranked in the top 8, but they should have been ranked in the top 8. There's no reason there was 9 teams over them.
Ian said, what do you think of Mike Leach's 64-team playoff idea?
I love it.
That's it, yeah.
No, listen, there's very few things that Mike Leach is ever going to say that I'm going to disagree with, but I'm not afraid of it.
Yeah. Lone Wolf, I agree. Mike and AAC
Play a 10-game schedule.
needs championship
and
neutral site.
Get rid of all the the bull crap, all the non-cons basically. play a 10-game schedule.
Yeah.
All in your conference. And then duke it
And
out.
then have at it.
And duke it out.
Mike said no to make sure not missing exams and still get holidays. Basketball
Holidays.
teams, I mean, the college
Exams.
basketball players are doing this, so like
Exams and holidays.
if there's an 8-team playoff, they need to include the Citrus Bowl rotation due to historic factor.
See,
it ain't
anytime
about
you-
history.
I was
It's
gonna say,
about
anytime you
money.
bring in history and tradition as a reason to do something, I'm going to disagree with it immediately.
Yep.
Not that I hate history or hate tradition, but it's a terrible reason to change something or to do something.
Yeah.
If it's the right thing to do and it's historical, there's nothing wrong with that. You don't not do it because of history. But that's how we got ourselves into the problem of the Pac-12 and the Big Ten always get to play in the Rose Bowl, and that's considered the best bowl of the year. Well, who the hell says that's the best bowl of the year? And really, it could be Utah and Minnesota, and that's the number one bowl game of the year, but it's the granddaddy of them all because it's historically always been that. Like that's how you back yourself into a corner and you get a bunch of bullshit matchups that nobody cares about but those two organizations.
Yeah. I agree
History
with
and tradition is a reason why so many things in college sports are a problem.
Mike said it will give Group of 5 a chance. He said 8-team playoff in NFL-style scheduling or playing top 10 teams from the year before.
I agree. I agree with that. It will give them a chance.
Yeah.
It doesn't automatically get them in. I'm not for giving out handouts, but it gets them a shot.
I'm good with that. All right. We've been going for
Let's get out
46 minutes. So
Thank you, guys.
we
This was
appreciate
fun.
y'all. Of course, go over to tunicatravel.com. Tunica, Mississippi is the South's premier sports gambling destination. They got 6 incredible sports books. The website will give you all of the information, tunicatravel.com. And go to winningcureseverything.com. Go check out all of our stuff there. I mean, we got our social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, etc. If you're watching on YouTube, hit subscribe, hit that like
However
button.
you're watching,
Yeah.
share it out.
Share the show out. We
We appreciate
appreciate you guys. And on the podcast, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that you leave a nice review. We always appreciate that. We will see you all again, later this evening because we'll have our gambling picks and our previews and everything else. We hope everybody has a happy Thanksgiving. You guys stay safe out there. Enjoy the weekend. Hopefully it's profitable for everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for checking out Winning Cures Everything. If you want to keep up with us, hit subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. Visit the website at winningcureseverything.com, or you can like us on Facebook or follow us at Winning Cures, at Gary WCE, or at Chris B. Giannini on Twitter. Share out the show, leave a nice review, and make sure to comment and tweet at us.